The False Doctrine of the Virgin Birth, Book 6 of the False Fulfillment Citation Series. Who is Isaiah 7:14 addressed to? Well then, the Lord himself will give you a sign. A young woman who is pregnant will have a son and will name him Emmanuel. Isaiah 7:10-11. Moreover, the Lord spoke again to Ahaz, saying, Ask a sign for yourself from the Lord your God. Ask it either in the depth or in the height above. Isaiah 7:2. And it was told to the house of David, saying, Syria is confederate with Ephraim. This sign is to King Ahaz and the house of David that lived hundreds of years before Jesus. Was Syria and Ephraim confederate in the New Testament? The young woman is pregnant. Isaiah 7:14 in various translations says the young woman is pregnant. Common English Bible, therefore the Lord will give you a sign. The young woman is pregnant and is about to give birth to a son, and she will name him Emmanuel. In the Englishman's Concordance, Strong's Hebrew 5959 with 7 occurrences. The only time it's translated as virgin by Christians is Isaiah 7:14. If the young woman is pregnant, how can this be projected hundreds of years into the future? The young woman is with child, 2030 in the Strong's Concordance. Hurrah! Genesis 16:11. Behold, you are with child. Genesis 38:24. She is also with child. Isaiah 26:17. As a woman with child. Isaiah 7:14. 2030 in the Strong's. Hurrah! This is the same word as these other verses with the same context. New Revised Standard Version. The young woman is with child. Why is the sign given to Ahaz? Isaiah 7:16. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that you dread will be forsaken by both her kings. Are both kings alive in the time of Jesus? Isaiah 7:1. And it came to pass in the days of Ahaz, the son of Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, that Rezin, the king of Syria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, went up toward Jerusalem to war against it. Isaiah 7:5-6. Because Syria, Ephraim, and the son of Remaliah have plotted evil against you, saying, Let us go up against Judah and trouble it, and let us make a gap in its wall for ourselves, and set up a king over them, the son of Tabel. What was the time frame? Isaiah 7:16. For before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that you dread will be forsaken by both her kings. Israel dreaded the Romans, but the Romans were not forsaken by both her kings in the time of Jesus. We read in Isaiah 7 that Ahaz did dread two kings. We are given a time frame of when this will happen. Isaiah 7:8. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin, and within 65 years Ephraim will be shattered from being a people. Within 65 years. This time frame won't even get you through the Babylonian exile. No way can it stretch into the time of Jesus. We see the context of the sign and what is happening before and after have nothing to do with Jesus or Mary, but are clearly concerning Ahaz and his people living in fear of these two kings that are never mentioned in the New Testament. Isaiah's son, 6005 Emmanuel, Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. With us is God, the name of a child, a type name of Isaiah's son. Isaiah's son. The child is the sign to Ahaz and his people that the invasion will not happen. It will not stand, and his name describes why. God is with us. Isaiah 7:7. Isaiah 8:18. Here am I and the children whom the Lord has given me. We are for signs and wonders in Israel from the Lord of hosts, who dwells in Mount Zion. We are for signs. The names of the sons of Isaiah have special meanings that are signs to the generation, as stated by Isaiah himself. Context. Do you see all the context that is ignored and skipped over in order to fit Jesus into a story that has nothing to do with his life or his time frame? This is clearly a false fulfillment citation. Isaiah 7:14 has absolutely nothing to do with anything in the New Testament. The reason for the child is for a sign to King Ahaz that Syria is confederate with Ephraim, as we see stated in Isaiah 7:2. God is with us, so the invasion won't come to pass. This is what we read in Isaiah 8:8. Two kings have Judah on their radar, and the prophet Isaiah assures Ahaz it will not come to pass. Conclusion, Isaiah 7:7. Thus said the Lord God, it shall not stand, neither shall it come to pass. The sign of the child and what would happen is, before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, the land that thou abhorrest shall be forsaken of both her kings. The beginning of a lie. Matthew is presenting us a flat-out lie about Jesus being prophesied in Isaiah 7:14. Matthew ignores the historical context of the time frame and the kings mentioned in Isaiah to shift the birth of Emmanuel into hundreds of years into the future. This verse in Isaiah 7:14 has nothing to do with Jesus, Mary, or Joseph. If we are honest, we can see how Matthew ripped the verse out of context and applied Jesus to a narrative he does not belong to. If Matthew begins the New Testament with a lie, how credible is the rest of his book? The False Fulfillment Citation Series. I cover these go-to verses famous among the missionaries in the new book series available at www.amazon.com. The False Doctrine of the Virgin Birth. The False Fulfillment Citations of Matthew chapter 2. The Miseducation of Isaiah 53. And Psalm 16:10 about Jesus. The Lion of Psalm 22. Psalm 110 and the Kings of Righteousness. Who was cut off in Daniel 9:26? Who was the prophet like Moses? Was the serpent in Genesis defeated by Jesus? Was Pentecost the fulfillment of prophecy? All books are available in paperback and Kindle format. Thanks for listening.